I mean, the truth is, the light side GOTB is really, really difficult, but we kind of all expected that with relics and everything, and they said relics would be required, and it's exceptionally difficult, and it is doable. Some of it is doable, but only at the most extreme level, and I think additional abilities are going to have to come back. There's just no way they're going to be able to, have us doing 4 for 4 with maxed out relic characters without having additional abilities like character can't be hit for over 50,000 because like 100,000 non-crit hits in round 1, phase 1 is absolutely insane. What I can say for everyone that's out there listening, what I can say is light side GOTB is definitely better than a sharp stick in the eye. I can definitely say that. And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and we are doing another weekly live stream. We're in Scissorman account. Now, I'm going to flip the script. We're going to do story time first. I know a lot of people that want to know why, what happened to my eye, if they were following me on Twitter, or they just know me from being a patron or whatnot. They heard and found out I took an injury to the eye on Thanksgiving. That is right. So we're going to talk about that. It's looking pretty good. It's coming around. It's getting there, but it's definitely still painful. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through story time real quick. And then after that, I want to show a battle from yesterday's phase 1 GOTB, phase 1 ships. And phase 1 ships, of course, you're going to need the ships, reliced out, just, your crew members reliced out. Everyone knows this with the GOTB, the light side, you're going to have it. But I want to show that the battle, because I used a specific strategy and it worked. And it does depend on kind of who you have to go against. But I think the strategy is going to work well regardless. And so I'm going to test it out again today in phase 2 and see if it helps me. So I guess we're going to find out or not. But everybody's kind of jumping in, saying what's up. Everybody, hello, Jacob, Skywalker, Dexatronic, what's up, you guys? Okay, so let's start with story time. We'll go into that battle for Lightside GOTB, and then after that, we'll go and do dailies and things like that, see what we've got going on in Scissorman. So Thanksgiving Day, we went to a friend's house down in Montrose, Colorado. We drove down there. And by the way, if I do a lot of looking down today, it's because it hurts like hell to look up at the camcorder, just my eye. It strains my eyes. So I apologize in advance if I don't give a lot of eye contact. I'm going to try my best to do that. But there was Thanksgiving Day just a couple of days ago, 5 days ago, and we were heading down to Montrose, went down to Montrose, hung out with some friends. We stayed late. It ended up getting dark. We came home from that Thanksgiving dinner, and I got into our bedroom, and our bedroom is kind of up on a hill. You can see the whole valley where I live. You can also see a bunch of houses, and those houses can see you. They can look in to my bay window and see me. So when I get into the bedroom, I like to draw the blinds. I think that makes sense, right? You draw the blinds so people don't see you. And when I went in to draw the blinds, now preface this, my wife is a plant fiend. She loves her plants. She has plants everywhere. I've had people say, oh, my wife loves plants. She's got like 25 plants. And I kind of laugh because we have 25 plants or more just in the bay window of just our bedroom. There are well over 120 plants in the house. In fact, there's more than that. I stopped keeping track. And there are times when she's doing plant swaps where our plants, we will have 400 plants in the house. It's just absolutely insane. So basically it's Jumanji at my house. It's Jumanji at my house always. And I've always said I knew one day this would happen because I'm clumsy, and 2, It's like a setup, you know, like my whole house is set up for me to get hurt. It just is. So let's preface this with my wife has a tree in my bedroom. No joke. I'll show you a picture here in a second. And there's a tree in the bay window. And then under the tree, there is a bunch of plants. And all of those plants, a lot of them are like climbers. And what you do with a climber plant is you stick a stick into it and it climbs around the stick. It's a guider. The stick is a guider. And of course, you go outside, grab a couple of sticks, stick them in there, and then grow. So I've got this tree in the window. I've got these plants below, and I have to try to navigate this every single day to draw my blinds when I want to change my clothes. So that's where we're at with the story. And it's evening. We get back from Thanksgiving. I want to change. I see all the blinds are wide open as always, and I'm like, oh man. And of course, they're opened every day because of all of her plants. She needs to have those open. So I dipped under the tree. And when I did the dip, I got to the other side. I drew the blinds. And on the dip back, I took the sharp stick in the eye. I dipped in, and right into the eyeball, and the sharp stick totally decimated the inside of my eye. It actually hit my eye, pushing my eye back into my skull and then slipping off the eye and resting in the corner of the eyeball. When it hit my eye, it hit the cornea and pushed it back, but then slipped off the cornea, causing some scratches on the cornea, and then settled in the corner of my eye where it tore. And luckily, because it slipped off the cornea and only scratched the cornea, I have my vision. So there's that. I've got vision. Yay! Because that's a huge deal. Now let's go ahead and... Here is the window, the bay window. You can kind of see the tree. Sorry for the shading. I get the shading's kind of a mess, but there's the bay window. There's the shading. Now, can you see under the tree, there's a big sharp stick in the middle bottom. Let's try and do a better picture of that middle bottom stick. Let's check it out. Boom. That's the middle bottom stick right there. And that is what I stuck my eye into at full bore, because Warrior doesn't do anything half-hearted. He does everything with gusto. So after I got my eye stuck on that stick and pulled my eye off of the stick, unfortunately, this is the tear that it settled on. Now, my cornea was scratched, but it has since... I know, I got to put a stopper. Jason's saying you need to put a stopper on it. I've already told my wife, no joke, I've already told my wife she's got to do that, because I can't have myself tear my eye like this ever again. And I'm clumsy. This is going to happen again. It's bound to. But anyway, the cornea has since healed. The inside of my eye where the stick went through, you can see it ruptured the globe a little bit on the inside, and then the inside of the eye, because of where the lining is cut, the inside of the eye started to rupture out. It's kind of like an eye hernia. And, you gotta, gotta toss some stitches, and they wanted to toss stitches while I was wide awake and everything. Just look to the left. We're going to toss some stitches in your eye. Yeah, no big deal. Just don't worry about me. I'm just going to be throwing haymakers from the bottom. Don't pay attention to Warrior. I'm just going to be punching you in the face repetitively because you're trying to stick a needle in my eye. So that is, the injury. And then, this is the next morning. It's after I got back from the hospital and everything, and after we kind of settled in. This is kind of what it looked like the next day. It looks a whole heck of a lot better, but definitely my eye's been red, sore, very sore, scratchy, painful. So, light side GOTB, I can tell you. Light side GOTB is definitely better than a sharp stick in the eye. Let's see. Let's go to display capture. Cool. Well, we're going to shrink me down a little, move me over a little. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want to, everybody's saying, what's up? Yeah, a stick in the eye, better than a sharp stick in the eye. So this is a recording from yesterday from phase 1 of Lightside GOTB. It was the mission, the ship's mission, and I wanted to go over kind of what I did strategy-wise. Hopefully it'll help a few of you for ships going forward. Again, there's no surprise here. Your ships are going to have to be maxed. Your characters are going to need to be like Relic 3 and above minimum for all of these ships. Now, the reinforcements will become obvious in a second when I go into the battle, but there's that bug where it kills what your reinforcements are, so you can't even see what your reinforcements are, but this is all a Galactic Republic fleet. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this battle, and let's show you this. So in my starting lineup, I used 5s, and then my 2 damage dealers, Ahsoka and the ETA-2. Now, the lineup that I got yesterday, and everyone gets a different lineup, but because there's a couple of different lineups you can get, but the lineup I got was the Buzz Droid, Phenoms and the Hyena Bombers and all of that. This is a very difficult lineup to go against because of the massive amounts of attacking that can come on, but it takes them a minute to kind of swell with the all of the additional, because they're going to call a bunch of additional ships. So it takes them a minute to get to that point where they're going to have all of those ships, and then they're going to start destroying your fleet. So my strategy with this, when I saw this, I said, we're going to have in a couple of turns the opportunity to go either defensive or offensive, because there's those abilities that are built into this. It's called defensive formation or offensive formation. Defensive formation, bottom line, basically provides all your protection back and some health back and defense up and things like that. It makes it harder for them to kill your ships. And then offensive formation is opposite, obviously. It makes everyone you have hit extremely hard, like 100,000 on basics. Also, that way you can chew through. So my strategy when I saw this was I need to get 5 ships out so I can basically overwhelm them. And once I have my fleet out, then I can go offensive. But until I have my fleet out, I really need to be defensive. So you're going to notice I'm going to do the defensive strategy first, and then the next time after that I'll do the offensive, and it works really, really well. I think I lose just 1 ship in this entire battle. So of course I do the special because I'm trying to do some damage to the Hyena Bomber and target lock. It doesn't really work very well, but it does provide target lock. I do the special to try and do damage. You can see the damage that it does is not really very good. Now, the special on ETA-2 does put protection back up, and everything in my mind right now is heal or put protection back up or cleanse. Like everything's about healing, cleansing, and putting protection back up for now, because my goal is to get 5 ships out, and then I can switch to offensive. So on this, I went ahead and did the heal, and I get retribution and protection up. Now we're going to do the AoE, everybody attacks, not a lot of damage, and the damage output that their ships do on my 5s is pretty drastic. You're going to see right there, I lose 5s. Pretty nervous at this point, but we're going to keep going. I use a basic. Again, we haven't even really gotten through protection. Now, I bring another tank in, the Clone Sergeant, because I need a tank, and I do a special. Now, that special did 23K. It normally in a normal battle does like 80 to 90K. So that just goes to show how high these ships levels are that we're having to go against. We do a basic. Again, we still haven't got through protection, which is pretty bad. but we're just going to keep doing it. Now, here's where you can do the defensive formation or offensive formation. If you look over to my abilities over here in the corner, you're going to see a orange with the triangles or the diamonds, and then to the right of that, those blue shields. And the first thing we're going to do is a blue shield formation. That's the defensive formation. That's going to provide 100% protection back on everybody, which will ensure my tank continues to taunt and make sure no AoEs take me out. So we do the defensive formation. There we go. Now everybody has a bunch of protection and they've got all of those defensive buffs. And now we're going to put the unending loyalty or whatever it's called on everyone. So if they die, they don't die. We're going to now bring in Rex. Now, the reason why I'm bringing in Rex is because he can provide protection up, turn meter to the team. So it's really important. And he can help with the target lock synergy. Now, up to this point, we really still haven't even killed one ship. But we're going to get there because we're starting to get more defensive. So we're going to keep cleansing and putting protection up. And right here, we're going to do a special 61,000. And now that I had 4 ships up with full health and protection, I feel good about our defense. I went ahead and switched to the offensive formation and watch my ships and how quickly we're able to take the opponents out. So we put the offensive formation up, we do the AoE, it's decimation on him. Then we move over, we do the AoE, but I make sure to put the buff immunity and stuff on Geo Soldier. We're going to do a basic. That basic was 76,000 and it was not a crit. 76,000 on a basic from Rex. And again, it did not crit. And then we're going to do the special. That was 188,000 without a crit. That is a non-crit 188,000. This is the power of the offensive formation. And then basic was 57,000, and we're going to drop bombs. This is going to critically injure both of those ships. And this is the deal. They did not have a chance to overwhelm the field with a bunch of those buzz droid ships. There's 119,000 and boom. Remember, any ship that they bring in that is like that just comes out of thin air that they're bringing all those extra buzz droid ships. Those go away when you win. You don't have to kill them. All you got to do is kill the main ships, and those little ships can be devastating if you are behind the curve. But if you're ahead of the curve like this, then you win. So strategy here is, first off, you got to have your ships where they need to be, Relic 3 or above. 2, you really should use the defensive strategy first at the first opportunity. And then as soon as you have the defensive strategy and you have 4 or 5 ships out and you feel comfortable with the protection that's on your ships, then switch to the offensive strategy and watch your ships completely decimate your opponents. Now, again, there are other ship formations you can face, and strategy can be similar, but I obviously have to record more and see more of all of the others to see, kind of where we're going to be at. So let's see. There we go. All right, we're into dailies now, so I think we're pretty good. Let's go ahead and get into it. So really quick, let me just let me see how everyone's doing. All right, everybody's just chatting up. By the way, because of my eye, it's difficult reading comments. So if it's super, super, super important, you're going to have to tag me, and then I'll have to pause and go down and try to read. But so Scissorman, let's go into, let's get rid of this. I hate when this is flashing, man. Boy, I really, really, really want that commando pack, but it only speeds up your already easy farming, so there's no point in it. There's so many cool packs in here, but this one was definitely, it was like Oh man, that would be so cool. He has lots of cool stuff, but you don't need it. I'm proving that you don't need it in my Scissorman account. I've been farming him since he came out, and here's my lineup. So my focus right now is primarily Nightsisters and the 501st. Okay. Okay. And then I do have Nest in here, and I do have Scion and Nihilus. I've got Nihilus and Scion 5-star gear 9. I'm working on them. I really like to get them 7-star and get them to at least gear 10. And then Infus Nest, I'm trying to get her to 7-star gear 11 minimum. Those are kind of my staging points. Now, those 3 characters are passives, meaning I'm not really super focused on those 3, but I am farming them every day as far as their shards. I'm just not worried about gear as much. I've been working on them for months. Really, my focus is, like I mentioned, my focus is these Nightsisters, and because I like to use them on offense, but I could also set them on defense. But offense, they're amazing. I took out a gear 12 Darth Treya team with my gear 8 and 9 Nightsisters. They're just nuts. They're just crazy powerful. Just the plague mechanic, the tank that can, die forever and keep coming back, works really well. And then of course, the 501st is kind of like the future meta, kind of current meta, future meta. So it behooves me to start kind of gearing and working on them. And with Arc Trooper, this team is really pretty good. I mean, I've got them all gear 8, except for 5s. He's gear 9, but I've got them all gear 8 and 4 or 5 stars. Most of them are 5 stars. Arc Trooper's already at 4 stars, and he just came out. So pretty cool. I'll see. We got a question from Gareth. So he's asking, should my next focus be, Gareth is asking, should I be focused on like Rebels, CLS team, clones, or Darth Revan? Honestly, you can focus on Rebels at the same time as you focus on Darth Revan, and I would go Darth Revan first. Clones are going to require such a high level for the usage that I would get Darth Revan taken care of first, and you should be able to farm the characters for CLS and Darth Revan kind of simultaneously, but I would make CLS a lesser priority than Darth Revan, and both CLS and Revan, the characters for CLS gear 8 and the characters for Darth Revan gear 9/10. That's it. So not a ton that you have to focus on, and you should be able to do them both at the same time because the gear requirements are not so stringent. And then Gareth also says, and would you say getting the best team, Jedi Knight Revan, to relics is more important than getting other teams geared up and not doing the heroic Sith? So it takes about 3 weeks for one gear 12 plus piece. Yeah, if it's your arena team, it's going to be what gets you your crystals. And so I would say, yes, you kind of have to go all in on at least one team for relics, in my opinion. So that way you can get your crystal flow every single day, because your crystals are going to directly affect how much gear you can buy out of the store. I buy a lot of gear out of the store with crystals because I have a lot of excess crystals that I have throughout the day. Black Lightning asks really quick, what are my thoughts on Lightside GOTB? We'll go into it here in a second when I go into Lightside GOTB for this account. But they said it was going to require relics, but it's more than even relics. You can take completely maxed out teams, relic tier 7, and still not win. So that was on day 1. That's pretty bad. That's actually really, really bad. You'd think that they would have it in a way that, so there's got to be a level cap increase coming. I think there's going to be a level cap increase. That's probably on the horizon. And then we're probably going to see some new abilities. Now, most of these guys you can see I'm still developing them. Let's move into my relics. So I got Bosk finally to gear 13. So that's cool. That happened a few weeks ago, if you're following me. I also last week got Bastila. I think it was last week. It was either last week or the week before. I got Bastila Shan to relics, and once you hit relics, going up to relic tier 3 is really easy. That's why I take them all to 3. Now, a couple weeks ago, I got Commander Luke to gear 12. I got Padme to gear 12 over the last couple of weeks, and I got Geo Brood Alpha to gear 12 this week, and then Mission last week. So you can see my gear 12s are finally starting to happen. I'm working on Zalbar and Han Solo. Those are going to be my next two gear 12. So Zalbar has one more piece and Han has two more pieces, and those are the next two gear 12. I did get Canderous Ordo to gear 12. He was a hyper focus for a very long time, specifically for Malak, because I want to be Malak ready when the Malak event comes out, basically almost immediately after Darth Revan. So the only character I'm going to have to hyper focus on is when I get Darth Revan, focusing on him and getting him totally and completely maxed out as fast as possible. He'll be my everything. All my energy will go into him and him alone until Malak comes out. So hopefully I'll have him pretty good. I'll pause everything. I don't have a ton of gear 12. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I have 13 characters, gear 12 or 13. 13, that's pretty good. It's actually really good. Hyper focused on those. You can see the rest. My staging point for most characters is gear 11. I try to take them to gear 11 and then I dump them. There are some characters that my dumping spot was gear 10. And then there were some that it was gear 9. I want to get all of them eventually up, obviously, but gear 9 is a really healthy staging point for a lot of these lesser characters. And then gear 10 for a lot of the like leaders or supports. And then gear 11 for any of the damage dealers or anything that has a ship that I'm using. Some of the supports like C3PO doesn't have to be very high. C3PO gear 9 works really, really well. It's because it's his kit that works so well. And then it just falls off from there, as everything else is just a bunch of gear 8s. You can see just gear 8, gear 7, whatever. And then, of course, I've got a bunch of a bunch of characters that I've left at level 1 that I'm not leveling up. So there you go. There's where I'm at. You can tell where I started the game because when I started the game, Droideka and the B1 were marquee. The Droideka and B1 were marquee, and I remember thinking, oh, these are going to be great characters on my main account. And so I went ahead and started gearing them, and then I was like, what am I doing? I can't use them for like a year. So I stopped gearing them, and it's like I've made some of those. Even hyper focused, I've made a number of mistakes in my roster. It happens. So hopefully those will benefit you guys when you see that I'm failing at times as well to be hyper focused. I've got BB-8 at gear 8. He doesn't need to be much higher for now because I don't have the rest of his supporting cast. But yeah, it falls off pretty fast. I don't have a whole lot. Most of my gear 11s are, Ewoks and ship characters, not a whole lot beyond that. Side note, I have Ezra at Relic Tier 5 on my main account. Ezra at Relic Tier 5 does over 60,000 on his basic, and he attacks twice if he's not debuffed, which he's normally not debuffed on that team. So he strikes for like 120k. He's literally one-shotting on his basic. He's one-shotting some, like I'll take him against bounty hunters and I'll use him as my damage dealer against bounty hunters. And he's just like, whop, whop, they're dead. Whop, whop, they're dead. Whop, whop. He's amazing. I knew Ezra was good, but at Relic Tier 5, he's absolutely insane. And of course his special does, I'm having him do over 120k on his special, plus get 75% turn meter, and then do 120 on his basic. So I'm able to get over 200k damage out of Ezra before, he just takes turns back to back. He's kind of like my new Yoda if you will, because I use Yoda a lot of times with Padme because I need that extra damage and the AoE damage to be able to hit everything. Especially if you're going to use like Padme against Nightsisters, it just makes things faster to be able to hit all of your Nightsisters for a massive amount of damage, especially if he's got a bunch of courage. He hits everybody at the same time and just one-shots the whole team. So there's some real advantages to pulling and using Yoda in other teams, but that leaves a hole for what's your damage dealer. And if Anakin is with your clones or Anakin is with Revan or whatever, it remains to be seen who's going to be your damage dealer. So Ezra is, I would say he's one of the top 5 best Jedi in the game, especially as a damage dealer. The amount of damage once you hit relics is going to be insane. So I'm not going to sleep on him, even on my alt account. On my alt account, he's almost gear 12. I mean, Ezra only needs, well, one of them is a stupid piece that everyone needs. This Mark 6 gun. This is stupid. Everyone needs this. I got to build 2 of those for 2 other people first. And then this piece. This is a difficult piece to build as well, but not terrible. But he's definitely going to be worth putting the Zeta on. Now, I'm saving my Mark 3s. It's been tough. I'm saving my Zetas, and I'm saving my Omegas, because when Revan comes out, I want to be able to do Darth Revan's 3 Zetas. I want to be able to get Malik, and I want to be able to Zeta Malik, and I want to be able to have Zetas potentially for, HK and stuff. So I'm in save mode, and I'm just saving all of these. I've had to spend some Omegas on my Nightsisters because there's a couple abilities with Nightsisters you really, really, really want the Omegas for them to work well. Let's go ahead and go into my Nightsisters real quick, and we'll talk about that for anybody who's wondering what's critical. So you can see my Nightsister team. I've got 6, and the reason for 6 is 3 versus 3. That will be coming back. Talia is in there. She's kind of my worst. Now, it's funny because she was the one that I said to do in Pillar 1, and I started in Pillar 1, but then I paused her to work on other characters, and now I'm back to work on my Nightsisters. But Asajj Ventress, we'll start with her. I did her leadership ability first. I feel like it's the better overall first leadership Zeta. I really do. It's extra speed, extra offense. There's a bunch of turn meter gain anytime anyone falls below 100% health. And then they also have that turn meter removal from all of them. And the turn meter removal, if it triggers, can't be resisted. So there's that event we just went through where you have to go against the Sith, even at like Gear 8, Asajj Ventress Gear 8, I was able to clear even the highest level of it because they just didn't even get a turn. And so this is a really, really good one for PvE, and it's a good one for PvP. So the basic on here, I did the Omega on. It's very important because not only does it give her more damage, but it's the stun. You really, really, really want to be able to stun lock your opponent. And so anything that has to do with stuns in this team, you definitely want to put the Omega on. So this one was a no-brainer. Now you can see I have not done this one yet. It's just bonus heal. I have not done this one yet. In fact, I actually need to do this. I can't believe I missed this one. Just the Mark 3s. There we go. We don't need the extra damage or cooldowns. I mean, eventually you will. And then Rampage, this is a Zeta. We're saving Zetas. So I only did her leadership Zeta, and then her basic is Omega. That is it. Nightsister Spirit, I have her basic at 7. This is a really good ability with the inflicting speed down for 2 turns and possess extra damage in the cooldown. That is really, really good. But I did Omega this, and this is why. Nightsister Spirit gains Foresight for 1 turn at the start of each encounter. That Foresight is massive in keeping her alive, especially at lower gear levels. She just keeps popping up the Foresight, and every time they try and hit her with an AoE or something like that, they miss. And so she stays alive, and she's very powerful even at lower levels. But this just makes her really, really hard for the AI to kill on defense. So like when you're on offense, using them on offense, the AI will have a really hard time killing spirit because of this omega. So this was a definite omega. So I spent 1 omega on Asajj, and I spent 1 omega on Nightsister Spirit. For zombie, I have not done these, the damage. I'm not worried about the damage right now. So this one's low. Feed, it's low. And I'm not worried about this. Now, obviously, there's some good inside of these abilities, like at the end. But Endless Horde is one that I did because it provides the auto taunt. So obviously you want that auto taunt at the beginning of each encounter. So that I did the omega on. And then Undying Sacrifice is pretty amazing. But I have not finished the Undying Sacrifice off yet. So I've got 1 omega on zombie. And then Mother Talzin, I don't have any. I have her abilities to basically level 7. The basic's nice because if the target was plagued, you'll inflict plague again for 3 turns. So it refreshes plague. That's super important. I do need that. This is just damage and cooldown. This is damage and cooldown. Yep. And then Plague Bearer. This is a Zeta, just like her leadership ability. They're really great Zetas, but I'm not putting any of the energy into them quite yet. Now, Old Daka, I don't have her unique Zetaed, but I do have it almost maxed out. And then Chant of Resurrection, it's a cooldown of 1, which is important to bring him back to life. You need to be able to do this ability as much as possible. And then the revive chance is doubled for Nightsister allies. You want to have a 70% chance of revive. You want her to bring them back to life. And then Insightful Blow, it was another omega I did because it increased 15% chance of stun. And again, you want to be able to stun lock your opponent. So this was important. So I have 5 omegas on 5 Nightsisters because there was 2 on Old Daka and none on Mother Talzin. That's it. Obviously, I want to finish these characters off, but there's not a ton that are absolutely critical right off the bat. So if you're in that situation where you're trying to figure that out. Charlie C asks me, do I know when Darth Revan is coming back? And the answer is he should have been here December 5th, which is tomorrow, because they come every 90 days approximate, and he was scheduled or slated to come the first week of December. There is kind of a joke about December 5th because there was an event in the past that was supposed to come out in August and ended up coming out in like December. And so everybody jokingly talks about how, December 5th. So I think it would be kind of funny, if you will, if they brought him out on December 5th, just because of the joke that's been going on for years. But he's due any day now. He should be popping in any second now. Now, they did say that any character that has had a 1-year stay in the game is just going to become a normalized event soon enough. Here soon, they're going to drop all of them in, and you're just going to have access to all the events that have been in for a year or more. But he doesn't fall into that because I've been playing for less than a year, and he came out after I started my account. So he should be scheduled and he should be on the map, and he's not anywhere. I don't know why they would bring him back less than 90 days 3 times in a row and then wait more than 90 days on the 4th one. Like, why would you do that for those people that actually have had to wait 4 cycles for Darth Revan? As far as me ready for Darth Revan, let's look at that real quick. So I have some relics on my light side. I have Mission Good. Zalbar's 1 piece away from being good, and this is for Malik, of course, right? And then I'm not worried about Jahani or T3. And then Karth is a little low. I'm going to have to put a little more energy into Karth, although he's technically over the limit. And then Canderous is over the limit to participate. And then I've got a couple of Sith Empire that you have to have up, and that's HK and Basti. And I want Bastila and HK to be gear 12. They're gear 11 right now. I'm not in a huge rush to get them because they're over the technical threshold, so I'll be able to get Darth Revan. And Darth Revan is a bigger priority than these characters are, but I do eventually obviously want to get them gear 12 so I can get them to gear 13 and relic them at some point. So they're kind of just on, if something's glowing after like a Sith raid on one of these Sith Empire or Old Republic characters, then I put it on them. The cool thing is the characters in my favorites are all really at about gear 8 or gear 9-ish, which is gear that comes from the Rancor, gear that comes from the Hat Raid, and then the other characters that I'm working on kind of passively on the side, like these characters, the gear that I need comes from the GOTBs, comes from getting that currency to be able to buy some of that higher end gear. Sometimes saving crystals to get the gear, and also from the Sith Raid. The Sith Raid will provide pieces that are critical for these characters that are higher. So the good news is there's gear coming from different places in the game, and some of the gear is being focused on my favorites, and some of that gear is being focused on my other characters that are in the game. So it's kind of cool. As long as you have differing stages of development, you can manage multiple teams at one time, even if they're not in your favorites. I kind of hope that helps, or maybe it's as clear as mud. But hopefully, because people say, how do you focus on so many characters at one time? I don't. But every time I get a payout, I scroll through my entire roster and I analyze it and I say, hey, that thing is glowing. Who else needs it? Who needs it most? Which teams are most impacted by this piece of gear? You really have to ask yourself that every single time you get a good piece of gear. Who should be using that piece of gear? Okay, we should get into some of these events and dailies and stuff. I know there's a bunch of stuff. Let's get into farming. Let's see. I'm not going to do Galactic War. We're going to sim it. Let's do that. We'll sim it. Come on. Give me an Omega. Omega. And I am almost done with Royal Guard. By the way, I have not farmed for Royal Guard whatsoever. This is just out of the Bronziums or whatever you call them. Sorry for drinking coffee, but I am still waking up. Oh, cool. I got a Rex shard. Very cool. And a Newt shard. Oh, he's maxed, so he doesn't matter. Okay. Let's just go through. Some of these things will go real quick. Whoops. Went into my inbox. Nope, I don't need you. The cool thing is I get a lot of gear from the Sith Raid. I try to place top 10 as much as I can. And then if I need them for a character, I put them on a character. But if I start to get excess, I know, crazy enough, excess gear 12, then I convert it to relic material. It just depends on where I'm at. But when I pop a character over to gear 12, I can immediately place anywhere from 3 to 5 pieces onto them normally, which is pretty amazing. But it's just because I don't have a bunch of characters at gear 12. So I only have 13 total characters that are a gear 12 or above. And so when I pop one, like I just popped Mission, she had 3 things or 4 things glowing, and I got to just immediately take her and put those pieces on her, which is pretty awesome because it gets them really close to gear 13 really fast. It almost feels like they're more generous with the gear 12 pieces than they are with the gear 9 pieces earlier on in the game. Like, because I get more characters stuck at gear 8 and 9, and then they're just kind of stuck at gear 8 and 9. But once I can get past gear 8 and 9, all of a sudden I can get them up faster. It's kind of weird. It's like this weird moment in time where you get stuck, but if you can get past that, you'll accelerate pretty quick past that, as long as you're in a good guild getting good rewards. It's kind of weird. I find as soon as I can get to gear 11, getting from gear 11 to gear 13 is less problematic than getting all of gear 8, 9, and 10, which is weird. But I think it's the quantities of stuff that drops in those higher raids. So it is a bit weird. Okay, so we did all the little weird things. Oh, I need to buy stuff out of shipments, of course. I always buy all of these. I've always done that, and now it has paid off in both accounts. It has paid off. I'm glad they gave us these guys for credits, credits. That was good. Stun guns were cool. I'm saving currency, not because I don't need it, just because I don't need to spend it. I don't really need the currency yet. Same thing here. I can get credits if I need it, but I'm just saving. All right. I'm saving this currency to the left, the regular get currency, because obviously I want to be able to buy Malik as soon as he comes out. Funny enough, I have 10 Malik shards. Yay, 10 Malik shards. Let's see. I don't think there's anything in here. Oh, there's some to convert. That's a good one right here. And see, this is really high-end gear. This is what you need for Gear 11, Gear 12, but it's in the shard store every day. I mean, I see these things in here all the time. Same thing here. The shard store is really kind of your best friend. So you should find yourself in the shard store every day, and you should find yourself buying all these top ships in Galactic War and then immediately taking them and converting them to gear. So, because it would be as if this gear was just available in the Galactic War store. If you had gear, that awesome gear available up in these 3 slots, you'd be buying it every day. Well, there's nothing different. Just convert and buy it out of here. This is one reason why I progress pretty fast as well, as I abuse the shard store big time. That's another reason for hoarding these kinds of currencies, because then I can come in and get a bunch of extra character shards, and then I can use those extra character shards for extra gear that I need, for any of this high-end gear that I might not have a lot of, which I do have quite a bit of all of that. Okay, let's farm for a couple of characters. Let's do my Arc Trooper. Let's see how I get. I've been getting about 10 a day, and because I'm saving for Darth Revan, I believe him to be coming out any day now, I have not been putting any abilities mats on these guys, other than to get to part 3, or hit, 3rd level. Okay, we'll do 3 refreshes, and we'll do 8 at a time. Try to normalize the RNG. There's 2. There's 2. There's 0. We're at 4. 5. 6, 7. So pretty bad today. I got 7. Yesterday I got 10. But 7 is better than a sharp stick in the eye. Oh, I'm going to use that joke. I am going to use it like a dad joke. It's going to be so abused, and it's not even going to be funny, and I'm going to laugh at myself when I say it. It was better than a sharp stick in the eye. All right, let's get our Nightsisters. Now for Nightsisters, we're doing 1 refresh per character. So we're doing the 5 that you get automatically, and then we're doing 125 refresh. And the reason why I'm not doing more is because I don't want to waste my crystals, for 1. And 2, I'm not in a rush to get these guys 7-starred. I want them 7-star, so I'm focused on them, but I don't want them that bad. So that was her. Let's go over to Mother Talzin. We should be able to promote her today, which would be really cool. And we should be able to get some shards for her. Ooh, that was good. Yay. We'll get 10 more in that event. Let's go into that. Oh, yeah. I spent 25 crystals on the refresh for nothing. All right. That happens a lot. We'll spend the rest, on Scion. For now, what I have left, we'll spend on Scion. Okay. And then we're going to Just farm for, so some days when it comes to mods, some days I slice, some days I farm new. You have to balance it. You have to constantly be bringing in new and good mods, but you also have to find the mods you have, figure out which are the best mods, and then develop those good mods out for the characters you have, or you just keep getting more mods and you get overwhelmed and you don't have enough credits to do what you need to do. So I'm working on blue right now. So we're going to do 3 of these, and we're just going to get a bunch of this. We're just going to get as much of this as possible today. I try to spend 4 days slicing, 3 days getting new mods, or 5 days slicing, 2 days getting new mods, depending on how many mods I have sitting in my collection. But I try to spend 4 or 5 days slicing. Now, when I first started, I spent 7 days getting new mods for months. And then I started to move it over to a couple of days of slicing. And now I'm in the point where I only farm for new mods a couple of times a week. And the rest is slicing the existing mod inventory that I have. I hope that helps people see the evolution of slicing mods versus getting new mods. Speaking of mods, we could go ahead and look and see what we have. Let's see if we have any E. These are all going to be the best mods I have, except for this one. This one could potentially be good. Possibly. And then there's one more down here. It's on Tarkin, and we got to finish upgrading it. And then let's slice this bad boy. Okay, that was crap. Let's move the filter to D. And we'll sort by speed. So this one is my fastest mod right now, and it's not on anyone. And I don't have the slicing material for green right now. So that's too bad. Again, my fastest mod is not on anyone. This health mod should be assigned to somebody. It's sitting in my inventory unassigned. Let's see if we can get speed to roll again. Now, we've had lightning strike twice. Let's see if it will strike a third time. Nope, did not. That's okay. Let's see, what's this? Let's do this one. Critical damage with 10 speed. Yeah, let's do this one. This is the last one. It's got offense, crit chance, speed with a critical damage arrow. You couldn't get any better than this other than maybe not have it be a health mod. Aside from health, this is an amazing mod because percentage offense and speed have already rolled. And I mean, crit chance and offense, you can't beat. So there's more offense, 41 more offense. This is going to turn into an insane mod, and it's on a good character. So, all right, I don't think we have any more slicing material. So that was short-lived. And we need to go farm for ships stuff. So the way I'm doing ships is basically I've been going in here prioritizing everything that's in ships and determining what's most important. Some days I only have enough energy to do one, and some days I buy in a bunch of extra refreshes. It depends on where I place. Some days I don't get into the top 20 in arena because I'm busy or it's just a bad day. Other days I get number 1. So it depends on where I land as to how many refreshes I'll give myself or provide myself. Basically, it's a reward. The higher I climb the day before, the more refreshes I get to do. So like last night, I made sure to get number 1 so that way I could do as many refreshes as possible. Okay, we did Nihilus. We're going to get Scion now. Going for him every day. One shard is better than a sharp stick in the eye. I'm an idiot. Okay, let's see. There we go. Yay! I even got a ship Omega. That's cool. And pretty neat. Yeah, and I don't have any more. Frank Brown's asking how, yeah, Dan Crenshaw. Someone's saying they expected me to have like an eye patch like Dan Crenshaw. That's pretty funny. No, I think my eye's going to heal pretty good. Did you go over territory battles already? How's your main doing? We kind of went over it a little, but we're going to go over it a little more. I'll go into territory battles here in a second. My main's doing okay. Not really very good, but as good as to be expected. And then what's your strategy on farming stun guns? I only see them in the shard store once a week. So I look in the shard store every day and I find them almost every day, probably at least once every 3 days minimum. And so I always buy them when I see them in there. And then when I need a specific character and guns, I'll pause character farming. And then, all your energy that you get throughout the day, I'll spend all of my new free energy that I earn on stun guns for like 3 or 4 days in a row and complete a stun gun. Of course, the Carbantes are given to you free in the game, so you don't have to worry about the Carbante side of it most of the time. But you can see I did buy a Carbante refresh of 6 out of that, out of the shard store earlier today, because when they're in there, I'll definitely go for them as well. But stun guns they're definitely difficult, but they're not as bad, I think, as they used to be. Because if I need something, I can just focus on it for a couple of days and knock it out. We can promote her. 500. Now, also, my ships are, for a lot of people, they're like, oh my gosh, your GP is so high. I'm way more focused on ships than most of y'all. Most people don't like ships. My ship GP is almost 1.2 million on ships alone. My characters are 1.5. I get people that I go against that their character GP is 2.0 and their ship GP is 500,000. Like, my ship GP is far higher than the average person I face, which is to my detriment because the people that I'm in, most of their GP is inside of their top characters, and so it's very difficult because of that. So unfortunately, but I get a lot of crystals out of ships. I see that value. A lot of people don't like ships as much, so it's a much easier climb. I mean, if you look, I'm in 22nd place right now with relicked out insane characters in Arena. And in Fleet, I'm just casually sitting in 4th, gonna do one battle, today, just one battle, whoop-de-doo, to get back into 1st. So it's a huge difference between the amount of crystals you get, how hard it is, how much energy you put in. So I'm okay with fluffing my stats as long as it's ship stats. And if we look at ships, by the way, you can see Houndstooth is good. ETA, I'm farming, obviously, with my ship energy. Han's Millennium Falcon's pretty good. I'm working on getting Han at gear 12. He really needs that for his durability. Geos are good. TIE Silencer is a great ship for Dark Side. The Ghost, Biggs, Slave 1 has been the same for a long time. Cassian, Phantom. You can see with Phantom, my characters are still like gear 8 and stuff. Ahsoka's is pretty good. TIE Advanced is good. And then it kind of falls off after that. The characters start to have lesser gear. And I am farming Lando's Millennium Falcon because I'm working on a Scoundrel team. So the characters are being farmed and worked on. And then the ship is a phenomenal last reinforcement. And then it kind of, like I said, falls off, but you can see some ship development down here. I've got Plo Koon's ship, 85, 7 stars, some of the abilities done. Plo Koon himself, gear 5. Yeah, he's level 85, gear 5. So that's kind of a waste of GP for now, but he's so good as a reinforcement that I'm still willing to put energy into him. And then you can even see Clone Sergeant for a little bit. Home 1's abilities are pretty maxed out. I'm not going to put any into Executrix or Endurance. Chimera's pretty far along, but what I'm doing now, because everything's 5 or 6, is I'm saving because I want to start. I have 95 of them. I'm going to start saving and trying to get as many as I can for when I unlock Negotiator. And Negotiator is a ways off for me, a long ways off for me, but it is still the ship that I'm going for. I'm not going for the Malevolence. I feel like the Negotiator is a better defensive ship, even though the Malevolence is a better offensive ship. It's not as good on defense, and so I feel like the Negotiator is the better bet between the two for like longevity and durability inside of the game as far as like arena goes. So, and I care about my crystals. You can see a lot of stuff has gone into my ships for sure. Let's look at territory battles. All right, Joshua. Joshua has a question. So Joshua asks about crew, breaking away and doing crew's ship and character. And I did that myself personally because you get a 2-for-1. You get the character and the ship, and it's a great first ship because it can stun, and the stun control is really, really good in ships. And ships sucks when it first starts. Anyway, it doesn't matter who you are. Ships sucks at the beginning. It's why so many people give up on it, because ships do suck at the beginning. But if you can get through that first initial sucky phase, it's great. Now, what I would suggest if you're trying to focus on ships is focus on the 3 Geonosians and the 3 ships that those Geonosians have. Focus on getting those characters unlocked and geared up to like gear 8, and then focus on getting their ships just maxed out. The good news is you can get all them and their ships out of Galactic War Store, which is a plenty. You got tons of currency hopefully coming in there, and in your ship currency as soon as ships unlocks. I would really recommend Geos first, and if you can do them with your Rebel fleet, then that's great, but Rebels and Geos are most important. But the number one ship I focused on for synergy that's even better than Rebels initially is the Geos. I can assure you that was why I was able to get into the number 1 slot very early on, as I focused on Geos. So if you want to start thinking about that, Geonosian Soldier is in Cantina and is a lightning fast farm. That might be something you want to throw some of your Cantina energy into. All right. So we're not going to go into Grand Arena. It hasn't started yet, and I don't want to show my defenses. I wanted to change some stuff up for this last battle. But I do want to go into this and see what we did yesterday. This is on my Scissorman account. We're a 150 million GP guild, so we're way in over our head on this. I have 2 relic tier 7 characters, and it just doesn't matter at all. We got 1 star. I think we got the 1 star from ships. So, yep, we got the 1 star from ships. So yeah, we're still back here trying to get our 1 star. And let's see if there's something we can give. Yes, let's deploy that. Anything that's not relics, you should donate, because it's better, frankly, to donate it than try to use it and just watch it get decimated. This one we're still not. Let's see. Nope, I can't donate anything there. Ships. So there's 2. There's a light side, which you can use your rebel ships, and then there's this one where you need Galactic Republic, and I don't have the Galactic Republic well enough. So I can attempt this battle, but I can show you how fast I'm going to lose, unfortunately. Again, the idea would be defense, and then after defense, moving into an offensive strategy. But my ships are not physically high enough to even compete at this level. They just really aren't. This is just going to be a slaughter fest for you guys. Yeah, it's going to be a slaughter. Okay, so it's bounty hunters. Whoops. All right, that was fast. This guy is still taunting. No. Boom. Ow, Thrawn. Yikes. No. Ow, 76,000. Yep. Let's see. No. Do I have oh, he just always taunts. That's great. That is friggin' great. I don't have breach. That's a mechanic within this. And he is super taunty. Super powerful. Yikes. Just not doing any real damage, and he regenerates a ton of protection back every hit. Way more than normal. Yeah, I'm definitely doing... I'm rocking it, you guys. Man, that taunt, that incessant taunt without breach is nuts. What a crappy a build, for sure. Oof. I just can't even believe how powerful these ships are. I mean, I haven't even dented his protection. Yikes. So there you go. Well, there was my attempt. Oh my gosh. Sneeze. That came out of nowhere. Holy Lord. Okay. Oh, we can donate some ships. Well, I tried. Let's donate that ship. And that was it. That was the only ship I could donate. Okay. Okay. I think we're focused more on these battles, light side and Jedi. I have the Jedi for Jedi. I'm just not sure that I'm going to win with this, even with all relics. But we're going to try. It's just, it's absolutely nuts. Okay, so we're going to do Revan lead. We're going to do Relic 7s, Revive, and... Do I take in Basti, who can crank up the damage, or do I take in General Kenobi to take the 100,000 hit to the face? Let's take in Basti. Ugh. Okay, so let's... I wasn't listening, and now everybody's like, no. All right, let's go ahead and take the B2 out. He has crazy damage with his stacks, and so does B1. Let's try and put some foresight up. And then we've got to get rid of this guy, although the Droideka is nuts because he can one-shot everybody. No, he's rolled up. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. I'm worried about their Droideka. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No, Droideka. No, 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 Droideka. No! Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, I should have saved my heal. Let's do the revive on yourself, brother. Oh my gosh. They couldn't have picked a better person to target. Oh. Yoda. You were the chosen one! Man, that was, that's painful. Trying to get their droid... Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, someone's saying Relic 7 Grandmaster Yoda only doing 50,000 crits. Yeah, he does like 120,000 crits easy in Arena. So to see him compressed, the compressed damage here is absolutely insane. Yeah, I didn't play that one very good, but it doesn't really matter. I don't think I could have won that anyway. The guy on the left was doing 100,000 hits, and the guy on the right was doing 100,000 hits. And I couldn't focus on them with the taunt, the incessant taunt. We're trying for a star here is what we're going for. We're trying to get to 1 star here first. As soon as we get our star here, then we're going to move down here. By the way, CG does suck, and we still need 1 star to proceed. I love my guild. They're hilarious. So, yeah, so that's our focus. We're going to do 1 star here to proceed, and we're going to do 1 star here. We got 1 star here, and we're going to focus on getting our 1 star here. We're not going to do anything in this battleground today. We're going to let it sit and percolate while we go back and try to get our stars from here and here. So that should be by the end of the day, if we do everything right, 3 or 4 stars. 3 or 4 stars. Let me see rewards. If we get 3 times 2 is 6. If we get 6 or 7 stars, we're going to get a whopping 3,000 currency. This is way, way worse than going and doing the other territory battle. This will definitely help guilds decide which territory battle to do. The stupid one that you only get a small prize box out of, or the good one. The prizes potentially in here are good, but you know how prize boxes go. It could be a bunch of random trash. It is good that it offers these pieces and this heatsink. This is super important. This is difficult. Heat sinks are annoying. So I can see why people would want to do this simply for this in-game material for relics, but there's just so much potential for trash in here. Like, why is this in here? Why? Nobody needs this. Nobody needs that. And if we're lucky, I mean lucky to get 9 stars, and I highly doubt we'll get 9 stars or 8 stars, even then we're only getting 4,000 of this currency. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't see the value of a guild of our size doing this ever again. Even with this high-end stuff, it's too high-end, and until they figure out what they're doing or what they're releasing or how they're going to make it possible for everybody to do it. Let's see, what do we got going on in here? Okay, raid. Who needs gear? Okay. Jib Datus. I just did his roster review last week. There you go, buddy. There's a stun cuff for you, little guy. There you go. That's pretty neat. What's this? Why are you glowing? I have no idea who this guy is, but I have all 50 of my slots filled with patrons and other guild mates. I'm sorry, brother. I don't have any slots available right now. I also used an auto clicker last night. I saved up my ally points for about, 3 months because I just didn't care. And then last night I did an auto clicker for like a half hour. And it's an app you can download for free, and it automatically just opens these nonstop, and you can just set your phone down. And when I was done, I had like 10,000 currency inside of or 2,000. I don't remember. It was a lot. In my main account, it was like 10,000. In this account, it was like 2,000. But I was able to go in and buy a ton of gear. My main account was 10, and this was 2. That's right. because I've already spent it. Okay, we've got an event. Now, I can't do the second tier because you have to have a 7-star Mother Talzin. So that sucks. But I can do this event because I have everyone 5-star and above. And this will get me more Talzin shards, which I need. Now, let's go ahead and use this on round 1 and round 3. Basic does 10,000 no crit. That's pretty impressive. Let's try and get rid of the damage dealers. All right, I'm having a hard time reading everything, so let me pause real quick and read because my eyes all messed up. David Murray just commented, I guess she'll move her plants. Not really, man. She didn't move her plants. You guessed wrong, bro. She still got them in the window. Now I just have to have her shut the window blinds. Yeah, so Admiral Thrawn keeps saying he suggests over and over that my guild leader hold on the bottom, at the bottom, and that's not a bad idea necessarily. Holding on the bottom one, we're trying to get to 1 stars, but you're right. What we'll probably do is get it just before 1 star, and put the rest of our focus in the other ones, and then wait another day to then focus on that bottom one, so we can really get at least 1, maybe 2 stars out of that bottom right. That's not a bad idea at all. And you know what? My guild guys, everyone in the guild who does Enforce Canada, we get like in Darkside GOTB like 12 to 14 stars. So they're really pretty smart. Honestly, way smarter than me when it comes to territory battles. So I trust the guild in their decision making when it comes to territory battles and how we run that. But they're probably thinking similar to you. They're probably going to wait on that bottom one. See, this is what you want. You want stun lock. Boom! Stun lock everybody. And I'm going to hold off on using Asajj Ventress's Daze ability, because what you want to do is you want to scratch and get tenacity down on Dooku, and then you're going to want to throw the Daze on him, because otherwise he's super annoying. Let's just get rid of him. Let's move over to B2. I could try and use the Daze now, but if it doesn't land, I've got to wait for a while. So let's just do a basic. Let's go ahead and go, yep, damage them all. Okay, here it is. We're gonna scratch, put tenacity down. Now when Asajj comes back, we can Daze and it will land. That is good. Let's go ahead and kill him. Let's go ahead and stun lock him. There we go. Super, super easy. We'll do a mass attack. Wow. And then let's do a headbutt. He's not going to attack back because he's dazed. And whoa, he dodged. There we go. That's pretty neat. Mark III ability mats. Oh, this was my first time. I got 750,000 credits. That makes me happy. I got Asajj's portrait. That's pretty dope. A couple of those, which you always get. And then I got 10 more of this. That's good. This is only a one-day event, sadly. So Admiral Thrawn is suggesting if he could give us an Excel file or whatever to help us as a resource. Absolutely. Leave it in the comments. And then anyone from my guild who's watching can grab it and can share it to any guild that needs it. So yeah, if you have any tools that you'd like for any of the guilds that are our size, 150, 160 million, that you think would help us get more stars, by all means, nobody's too proud to beg when it comes to this game. If you've got any information, absolutely share it. Claudu says Count Dooku's ability is horrible. I agree. So that was the first time I did it, apparently, because I had to have 5 stars or higher. That's right. And I had 2 of them that weren't 5 stars or higher last time. So that was the first time I got to do that. That was pretty cool. Yeah, 2 at 9, 2 at 10, and 1 at 8. They're coming along. They're pretty neat. That's pretty neat. So Grand Arena is not for another 5 hours. I've done my events. Guild event, we're going to sit for a minute on that. I've done all my dailies. I could probably do a battle. I know a lot of people want to know how to kill Darth Revan with regular Revan, and I could probably show you that. The thing is I'll be hitting somebody who has a payout soon, so I guess I'll just do it anyway. By the way, this Gungan, his payout's right before mine. That team is difficult to beat. I can beat it, but it is difficult to beat. It requires a special kill order. So the kill order, when you're using regular Revan, is you want to get them out of stealth. So you just use some basics, and then as soon as B2 comes out of stealth, you mark him and you attack him and you kill him. As soon as B2 is dead, you'll probably lose 1 or 2 characters in the process. You can revive them. Once they're revived, then you can focus on General Grievous, mark him as your second marked character, and it's over. Magna Guard doesn't matter in B2, doesn't matter. Even at Relic Tier 5 with all the damage he does, the biggest thing is kill B2 and then kill General Grievous. Mark number 1 is B2. You do, like I said, have to revive some of your characters, because you are going to lose at least 1 or 2. Sometimes I lose everybody but my but my healer. But my healer is Relic Tier 5, so it works pretty good. For Revan, this is a tough team. He has Malik, double Zeta. It's a double tank team, and he has a Relic Tier 7 Sith Marauder. So this could be a win or a loss. I lose as much as I win to this team. It's a 50-50 mix. But it's with Relic Tier 7 Sith Marauder, he can one-shot basically anybody. But let's just do it. His payout's not for like 8 hours, and neither is mine. So I'm just going to do this. Sorry in advance, Elisa. They're in my payout. But I just wanted to do a battle here before I go. And so what I'm going to do is I know strategy is traditionally to go after Basti, because Bastila debuffs your entire team, but I have tenacity up, and I also have an ability to kind of worry about her later. This Sith Marauder is nuts. Relic Tier 7 Sith Marauder. He's going to go hammer time on my team, so we're going to mark and try and kill him. The worst part is we only take off protection, and he is a massive damage dealer. So we're going to do this. We're also, oops, here it goes, the train. Nobody's below 50% health yet, so I'm just going to do a basic. And then we're going to call to assist, and we're going to call, and hopefully this kills him. There we go. Now, the other thing about leaving Sith Trooper around is it gives me somebody that I can focus on other than Malik, but hopefully this explosion right here will cripple Malik. Okay, and let's go ahead and we're going to call an assist, and oh man, this is tough. I wanted Anakin because Anakin can provide the healing immunity I need, but we're going to go ahead and do Yoda, and hopefully this kills him. There we go. Got Malik dead. Yikes. Let's kill the other tank. And then we're going to cleanse my entire team. And I got to bring back Yoda. Now, I called my healer because when he uses his basic, he can cooldown reduce, which is pretty cool. And then let's go. There we go. Let's go ahead and heal. Bring back Yoda. Ugh. Me mad. And the healer kills him for the win. Yay! For the win. There we go. He can hit me back. That's okay. For the purposes of beating him, I wanted to do that. Now, some of these other teams that have Relic Tier 5 or Relic Tier 7, these are really, really difficult teams to beat. For example, Scissorman, in ships I can beat him, but in this arena I can't. His Malik is relic tier 7 and his Sith Marauder is relic tier 7, and the two of them at relic tier 7 is just too much to win. It's just too difficult. And then two Crep Paz, his team with a relic tier 5, a Crew who's an auto taunting tank, is definitely very difficult. I used to be able to beat him before his Malik was 7 stars, but once his Malik got to 7 stars, he relicked him as super, super difficult. So you can see sometimes my path to first place is there, and other times my path to first place is not there. So sometimes I get first, and sometimes I get 20th. So number 1, Big Raoul, he's always sitting in number 1. Really good team. He just put Sith Marauder in there. He had someone else in there. How is my arena team modded? Let's do that, and then we'll get out of here for the day. I already done story time. That was at the beginning. If you hadn't seen it, you're going to have to go back in time and check it out because it's at the beginning of the video. But we'll go ahead and do Jedi real quick. And so if you're looking for story time, it was at the beginning of the video. You'll have to go back to the beginning of the video. The other thing is it's almost Christmas time. I never tell you guys to go buy my merchandise. I try not to push that. I think if anyone wants it, they'll get it. And if they don't want it, they won't. And so there's no big deal. But I think it would be studious to remind everybody that Christmas is around the block. And if you have somebody that you love that enjoys listening to any of my stuff, right below any video is a store that has lots of different stuff from mugs to t-shirts and things as such. You could buy those things. They're still guaranteed to get to you before Christmas as Christmas gifts. That's the once a year plug I'll make on my merchandise. So if there's any merchandise that you'd like to get, go ahead and go down and get there. There's my shameless plug. Like I said, I never shamelessly plug my own merchandise, but I'm going to do it now because Christmas is around the corner. I thought that'd be fun. So Yoda is not very fast. I have 102 speed on him, which for some of my arena characters, that's not very good. But I wanted him to have at least plus 100 speed for the sake of just as many turns as possible. He does a lot of damage. His health and protection, I did not focus on. You can tell the health only has 2,500 health, and protection, it's nominal. What I focused on was damage. Now, he does special damage, and so I got his special damage to 11,257 with a 40% crit chance, but the crit chance doesn't matter because he's going to get all the buffs that are going to end up allowing him to go crazy crit all the time. He crits all the time, pretty much. So the damage is really what I'm going for. So this over 11,000 damage was really where my focus was. You can see I have an offense set and a crit chance set, with this being an arrow of speed, offense, and then a protection down here, of course, with defense and offense. So that was Grandmaster Yoda. Jedi Knight Revan is my fastest character on my team, or just even in the game. I have him at 306 speed. That's not very good, but he gets like 30 extra speed from this team, so he ends up being like 336. That's faster than most of the teams in my arena, which allows for me in the top 20 to be able to go first, and as long as I do a proper kill order, it helps me to potentially take someone out and make it a 5 versus 4 battle, which really helps. You can see I've got the speed arrow. I have a speed set and then a random 2. And the reason for that, and this is defense. I don't want defense on him, but it had 22 speed, and you got to use whatever mod trips for good speed. You got to use that, right? So, I wouldn't recommend a defense triangle, but that's just the way of the world. And then health. Health isn't, again, I'd rather have probably protection. And the reason for this is I go against a lot of Maliks, and you want your protection pools high, your health pools low. Because when he does his pull, he does 100% of your health. So if you've got a high health, low protection, it does a ton of damage. Whereas if you have a high protection, low health, Malik is really mitigated in the amount of damage he does with his pulls. So I would highly recommend always doing protection primaries. This is terrifying for me to have health on here, but it was, again, one of the mods for a speed set that had one of the fastest speed secondaries. I just don't have very good mods on this account yet. This is also health. This really makes him really bad for death because his health pool is so high. He can get killed very easily with Malik, and he tends to be death marked quick, which means that Malik's going to kill. So again, this should be protection, but look at that, 25 speed. It rolled 5 times on speed. This is literally one of my best mods in the entire game on any account, on either account. This is amazing. This one had 19 speed and this one had 14 speed. So, just trying to get the speed on there so he can go first. Jedi Knight Anakin, speed was a little less important. I got him to 263. That's okay. Really, I focused on like I did with Yoda, I focused on offense and crit chance. So he's got speed here. He's got critical damage here, the critical damage triangle at 42% crit damage. I could go offense, primary, or crit damage, and the damage numbers I'm seeing are very, very, very comparable. They're very close when he crits. I had an offense triangle on here, and then I did the crit damage triangle, and the damage output I'm seeing is very, very close. So, but I had a crit damage triangle with 18 speed and some crit chance, so that's why we placed it on there. This is offense. Of course, you definitely want offense. He needs potency, and this rolled kind of high potency. He needs that potency for that ability block, or the ability block for the buff immunity and the healing immunity. And then this is protection. This is preferred. You want protection as your primaries on these. And then of course this one had some good speed, 18 speed, and this had some good speed, 15 speed. You're always looking for, offense percent or offense flat on those damage dealers. Now, Jolie has 6 health mods, with this being crit avoidance. Critical avoidance is really, really important in Arena to keep him alive. If you noticed in that last battle, actually in that one battle, even with where territory battles where he got mollywopped, it did not crit. This definitely does help keep him alive a little bit longer. It helps in Arena as well. What's nutty about this crit avoidance arrow is it has 154 offense, which is totally not necessary. He does not need that. I'd love to find a different purpose for this for a damage dealer, but it is what it is. This is, of course, health. Now, with Jolie Bindo, he regenerates protection under Revan, and I'm going against a lot of Maliks, and so you can actually switch Jolie Bindo from all health primaries to protection primaries and have slightly better luck against the Revan teams, surprisingly. So I do need to remod. The problem is I do use this in other areas of the game, not just obviously for Arena. I use it for, raids, the Sith raid, the Hat raid, and I find much better success getting much more damage with health primaries. So that's kind of why I've stuck with the health primaries for Jolie Bindo. But for what I'm going against in Arena, these should actually be protection primaries. The reason is, again, it gives him a hard shell and it really minimizes the amount of damage that Malik can do in his pull when Malik does that. So health, crit avoidance, arrow. His speed's not very good. Bastila, I need to focus on her mods a little bit too. I've got a health set and a speed set. And again, health set would not be my first choice for her in this because I go against a lot of Maliks. And again, you want to keep your health pool as low as possible and your protection pool as high as possible. I think I've said that enough. I need to finish this off and get it to 32 speed. and roll it one more time. This is crit chance, not very good. She doesn't need crit chance. She needs protection here, but it had 15 speed, and I was trying to get her to a certain speed threshold. And then this is protection, so this is good. And then this is protection, so that is good. And it has 21 speed, so that's really, really good. This one has 12 speed, and it has some offense and offense. So this is a pretty good speed mod for a damage dealer. And then this one had some speed as well. And then for General Kenobi, I need to slice this last mod, speed. I went with protection, protection, protection. And he works really, really well. And he has a speed set and a tenacity set. And the reason for speed set and a tenacity set is because he needs tenacity and you want him in an arena team to be pretty fast. So I've got him around 269. Look at that protection. Getting over 90,000 with only 49,000 health. This is super important because the protection pool is better when he's targeted. Now, in my team, I have to decide whether I'm going to throw in Bastila or Anakin. If I'm going against any teams that are not Darth Revans with Malik, I'll use Bastila, and it works really, really well. If I'm going against a Darth Revan team, Bastila doesn't work so well. I remove her and I put Anakin in because Anakin has the buff immunity, healing immunity, and he's got that crazy massive damage that can help clear the field. So it depends on what I'm facing as to the team composition that I'm going to use. But I do always use General Kenobi because General Kenobi is a phenomenal tank. So those are my how to mod those top characters. And then, we'll see where I go with the other ones. But I appreciate you guys coming on, checking us out. If you're coming in for story time and you're like, where's story time? Where's story time? It happened at the very beginning of the video. Go back after the live stream. Go check it out. I talk about my eye and what happened and all of that. I do appreciate everybody who comes on and checks these things out and spends time with me. I got to get ready for work. I got to be to work in 35 minutes. So I got to go and change, shower, and drive to work. So I got to hustle now. But I appreciate y'all coming on. Thank you, Force Canada, for everything. Remember, it's almost Christmas time. So if you want to get any Scissorman or Warrior merchandise, it's down below. The store's always by the videos. There's my shout out once a year for my stuff. As always, make sure you guys keep your gaming on. Warrior out.